Both the verdict and the sentence came as a huge surprise to me.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu chief legal counsel has come out to narrate the ordeal, the full story on how everything started. In case you have not been following up or you don't know the full gist, you don't know how far, where these guys have done, what and what led to this judgment that they sentenced him to life imprisonment. Just listen to what he said here. He has narrated everything from beginning to the end on what actually led to this sentencing and why the chief judge made this kind of pronunciation that has caused a lot of reactions on in Nigeria. Watch this video. I'll be right back.
First of all, this is a classic case of someone being convicted solely on words he had uttered from elsewhere, not even from Nigerian soil. For instance, the judge reeled out what was purported to be broadcasts made by Nnamdi Kanu from his location in the UK during the NSAS protests. And the judge relied or pivoted on that as one of the bases upon which he granted the conviction. But guess what? A lot of people died during the NSAS. A lot of them were innocent citizens. Notably, a lot were massacred at Lekki Toll Gate. And the NSAS report from Lagos State, mainly, and from Abia State, never indicted Mazi Nnamdi Kanu or any member of IPOB or anything IPOB. But you see, the judge just went too far in extrapolating that NSAS incident and blaming it solely on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and not on any overt act, any physical act that he committed on the soil of Nigeria, but solely on speeches or broadcasts he made or utterances he might have made from his location in the UK. So that one is number one. Number two is that the judge also made references to utterances Mazi Nnamdi Kanu made in the United States as far back as 2014, before the World Igbo Congress event. That was 9 years ago. And then, just a statement that one could say was mere puffery. We need guns, we need this and all that. And then suddenly, all of a sudden, 9 years later, you said you now grounded a conviction on the claim that that statement led to the death of someone in Nigeria. You see, they have thousands of IPOB or so-called IPOB, alleged IPOB members in detention, and none came forward. They never extracted any confession, which was tendered in court, linking Nnamdi Kanu's utterances of speeches or broadcasts to any actual violence or crime or act of terrorism in Nigeria. None whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, the rather perplexing occurrence during this trial that Nnamdi Kanu decided to fire his entire legal team. Did he undermine his case by doing that? You were a member of that. In fact, you were at the forefront of his legal team. And then you were suddenly transformed into a consultant, and you couldn't even speak in court today on his behalf. Did he undermine his own case by doing that?
No, he didn't. This is not the first time it has happened. You recall that Awolowo had defended himself, if you go back to 1963 in history. At some point, Mahatma Gandhi defended himself in South Africa and even in India. And Nelson Mandela at some point defended himself. So did Martin Luther King. It's not unusual. This is a politically charged case. I think a strategic decision was made by him at some point that he probably would have done a better job than the lawyers. The lawyers do these cases within a very narrow confine of some decorum or some kind of behavior that is imposed on the lawyers that may sometimes may become prejudicial to the client in a politically charged case like this. This case wasn't a complex case. This case depended very much on a misguided prosecutorial policy that pretty much zeroed in on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, maybe because of the region he came from. That prosecutorial policy is not being levied northwards. We have a different prosecutorial or different counter-terrorism policy up in the north, which is engagement.
Well, let me come in there and ask.
The comparison may be too far afield.
Well, let me come in there.
It has to be an equal opportunity crime.
Indeed. But let me come in there and ask you this, because of the fact that you raised the issue of the Southeast. What are the potential security risks in the Southeast region in your assessment? Do you think this verdict will lead to increased tensions or calm in the region? Briefly.
Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is committed to non-violence. I also take this opportunity to appeal for calm, just like others have done. But whether people are angry or not, they are indeed angry, because there is a perception that this whole thing is sectionalized. That perception has to be removed, and the growing notion that he's being singled out is gaining currency. So how do we stop this? We stop it by the government changing its policy a little bit to giving everybody equal opportunity, equal peril.
Right.
If you did something wrong, if you are from the north, they treat you as badly as they treat someone who did it wrong from the east or the west. But when you single a certain region and you levy an attritional prosecution against someone, it creates this perception. And of course, it kind of heightens the alienation of that very region and makes worse the very problem you're trying to solve, which is the problem of inclusion and exclusion.
Right.
And this is what is driving the agitation. But having said that, calm is required, because we still have opportunities laying ahead. Who was convicted in 1963 for treason. That conviction was equally questionable, and it was overturned through a political decision that was, there's a debate whether it was Gowon or Ojukwu that made that decision, but in any case, it was a political decision that set him free. Nelson Mandela as well was convicted. He served time, long, 27 years. It was political decision of the South African government under de Klerk that set him free. So was that of Enahoro, Nnamdi Azikiwe, Mbazulika Amechi, and then when you go to the United States itself, Martin Luther King was convicted at one point.
Right, very briefly, we're almost out of time.
And again, Mahatma Gandhi. So now, this conviction, described as a travesty of justice, not just by the United States, by everybody. So it gives Nigerian government the opportunity to step in. If something went down, something went wrong, there's a new opportunity, a new window of opportunity to solve it. You see, America took a very weighty decision recently to intervene security-wise in this country, and they never mentioned the IPOB on Nnamdi Kanu anywhere. If they do, it's going to be in favorable terms, not in disfavorable terms.
Right. Okay, I've got to go.
This kind of points a way forward for Nigerian government to do that, so that this sense of exclusion and alienation in the South is running rife will be checked once and for all.
The annoying thing is that while Nnamdi Kanu is facing prosecutions, the army generals, they beg bandits. If you have not watched that video, go and watch the interview made by this general. VDM has just posted it, begging bandits to lay down their arms, that they can be a president of this nation tomorrow, that they should lay down their arms, they will rehabilitate them and bring them back into the society, that they will help them. Imagine army general, they beg a general. This is very annoying. Begging bandits, say they should please lay down their arms. Begging Boko Haram, they beg terrorists, say please, that you can be the president of this, in his words, that you can be the president of this country tomorrow. You can imagine an army general, Nnamdi Kanu, who has not lifted arm, he has not done anything, he has not led any group, he has nothing, begging bandits with weapons. And what are we saying in this country? Honestly speaking, we are almost finished, if we are not finished already. Except we do start doing the right thing. We are, oh God of mercy. Imagine, look at the judgment. that was given to this man to pass, because I know that this is not a judgment from Omotosho's mind. This is a script that was given to him. It was articulated and written. If you watch the presiding, the executor, what he said, if you listen to the same script, that is where they lifted some things up that the judge was reading. Where are we going in this country? Why are some people being marginalized? Why are some people being treated better than some other people? Why is it going like this? Is it intentional? Why? Do we really need help in this country? Or can we do it ourselves? Do you really think that this can get better tomorrow? Because we are really going far. We are really going far. So how long is this going to continue? Judgment was very, very rash, was very, very hard. Why should he be sentenced to life imprisonment after he has spent 10 years on this trial? Why? Is it because he's an Igbo man? Is it because he came from the southeast? Because this has been the worry of everybody. They don't care. They don't care. For how long are we going to continue like this?